So can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the last time we have been discussing about the Euler dynamical equation in terms of Euler angles. We'll complete this part today. And then we'll move to the next topic. So what we concluded yesterday, which was W1 equal to H0 sin theta omega 2 H0 sin theta times cos phi divided by Y2. Here all the off diagonal terms are 0. When we substituted this in the Euler dynamical equation, few of the things I am just repeating from the previous class to make it convenient for me also to continue. Then the second equation in that context was this got reduced to, before we do this, we write also the third equation. So from equation 6, for I1 equal to Y2 not equal to Y3, we get H0 cos theta which is equal to a constant. As H0, this is a constant, because it's a torque free motion. So this implies cos theta equal to a constant. This implies theta equal to theta 0 is the same. Then we took the equation number 5. So from equation number 5 we have I2 divided by I2 and theta sin theta is a constant, so it will be outside the differential sign, and we get here cos phi becomes sin phi, this phi dot and become minus 1 here plus sin theta will be writing as sin theta 0 because theta is a constant. Okay, so sin theta will be missed out here and theta is 0 and phi. So in general, this sin theta and sin phi and sin theta 0, they are non-zero quantities. Sin phi, so for those cases, we will have h0 times phi dot minus sin. This quantity is a constant, this is a constant, and this quantity is also a constant, and this implies phi dot this is a constant. This simply implies that the spin rate, so mark the difference that omega 3 and phi dot are along the same direction, because this is along the third body axis, but they are not the same. Where we have written phi dot equal to phi dot plus psi dot cos theta, this quantity as omega 3. So they are not the same quantity. Omega 3, this is a variable quantity. This keeps changing. But here in this case, if you look, if phi dot turns out to be a constant, psi dot turns out to be a constant, and theta also turns out to be a constant, so naturally omega 3 will also be a constant. And this we have already concluded. If you remember the Euler dynamical equation we have right in the beginning considered, and there if I1 equal to I2, so that case it got reduced to omega 3 equal to n, this equal to a constant. This is what we have written. So your omega 3 also comes out to be constant here in this. But if phi and phi, they are not constant, so that also becomes a variable. So the same result we get from that place also, but this the way we are working right now, it's a much more easier as compared to the previous one in getting all the results. So to conclude, we have because the mirror free is this quantity, so we can write it this way. If theta is equal to 90 degrees, so in that case, this becomes 0 and then this goes up. So this is not a practical case. Just 1 minute, please hold it. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So, yeah, I have class right now. I have class. Okay. Okay, so talking about that, you are here or till what time? So I have class till 12 o'clock. So I will call you back when the class is over. Now phi dot we have already derived above. Phi dot is the quantity, this one. So we utilize this quantity here. This is I1 and I1 equal to I, so we will be replacing I, this equal to here I, this quantity. I will be replacing I1 with I. We have to put 0 and divided by 2. And then we have the cos theta here, which is quantity is present. So we should also write here cos theta. Then this cos theta cancels out and we get 0 by 3 plus 0 by 1. This will cancel out and we get 0 by 3. as both of them are constant and therefore psi dot also comes out to be a constant. And the same conclusion we derive using a different method. So this way you can work out for all other quantities. Y0 y is psi dot and that is written as psi dot plus psi dot equal to and this result also we derived earlier. So you can see that using this method it's a very easily all the terms are whatever the equations we have worked out, everything is derivable from this case. Here in this case, theta dot is 0. So these are the two Euler angles and resultant of this is omega 1, omega 2, omega 3. So this is going to give you the resultant omega here. Angle between psi dot and phi dot, this is the notation angle theta. And the angle between omega and phi dot we have written as this as gamma. This angle you can indicate this as epsilon. Remember here the dot is not given over the vector notation, but over the scalar notation this dot is there. So tan epsilon then immediately we can write as this becomes here in this direction for phi dot quantity and this is the epsilon here. And this is phi dot sin theta divided by psi dot is phi dot cos theta. Okay, and whether the motion is retrograde or prograde, everything can be obtained from this way. Rest other things you can work it out yourself as part of your homework. Maybe it can appear in the exam. What will be tan gamma in terms of this? Tan gamma measure from the tan gamma tan theta we have already taken into account. Tan gamma tan theta. And compare with the previous result that we have obtained. The working of the control moment gyros already we have discussed it. Now we go to the stability part. The stability part, what we have looked into, where the kinetic energy was given by h square by 2y. And from there we are concluding that whether above the minor axis is stable or not. But there is, this method is just, you can say it's a qualitative, not quantitative in that sense. So we go into a more elegant way of working out this problem where really you can predict what angle it will be at what time and other thing. Energy configuration for stability. So let theta equal to theta 0 equal to 0 initially. It's a no nutation angle. And then if 0 we write as R3 times omega t. Therefore, that will So let us say that we have a cylinder or a disc and it's rotating about this axis, this omega 0. And initially theta is a0. So it gets perturbed. And this perturbation we assume to be small. So in this perturbed condition, so if this angle is small, so you can well assume that omega 0 is still there. Or you can assume it like this. H0 is the angular momentum in along this direction. And omega 3 from the previous result, what we have got, this is then given by If you go back and look into the previous derivation we have done, so how we started. So we are assuming there to be angular momentum along the H3 direction. This is your H3 direction. Here, this is H3. Vertically, this is H3. And also here in this case, this is H3. So along this direction, then we got the unit vector H3 cap and multiplied by this. And then we took the components along the E1, E2, H3 direction, a small E1, E2, H3 direction. Okay, and from there we got the omega 3. So the same principle we apply here in this place. This is the situation. Originally it was rotating about the third axis here in this configuration, but then this is perturbed. So for a small angle perturbation, we still assume that this is the angular momentum still continues along the same direction. So H0 omega 3. So then omega 3 will be given by this quantity as we have worked out earlier. And for a small angle approximation, we use the previous equation here. So phi dot we have just written here in this place, and H0, this is H0. H0 cos theta. H0 we have taken as I3 times omega 0. So H0 by I, this quantity is omega 0, so directly we have written this part omega 0 cos theta. So now the kinetic energy T can be written as 1 by 2 omega transpose I times omega. So in the case where your diagonal elements are 0, so this gets simplified, otherwise it will be more complicated. This is the kinetic energy. Now also we have assumed that I1 equal to I2, and therefore it is placed in terms of I omega 1 is cos plus omega 2 is tan. 3 times omega 3 square. Now omega 1 and omega 2 we need to replace here. And also we need to get here the omega 3. So omega 3 already we have written as omega 0 cos theta. And omega 1 square plus omega 2 square, this will be with 0. We have already written the corresponding equation here. Omega 1, omega 2. So if you square and add it, in the denominator the I1 and I2 they both are equal. You get it 0 sine square theta divided by I. It's 0 square sine square theta divided by I square. In I3 maybe we can replace in terms of I0. And omega 3 is omega 0. This becomes square and cos square theta. And H0 is H0 also we reduce it. So H0 is the quantity I3 times omega 0. So this is I0 times omega 0. So then this becomes I times I0 square omega 0 square and square theta divided by I square. Omega 0 square also it will go outside. This is the expression for the kinetic energy, and this can be a little bit more simplified. Cos square theta we can write in terms of 1 minus sin square theta. इसका हाँ? माँ कहाँ है? मेरा ये ऑफिस में है। Now we differentiate this with respect to time. All these quantities are constant. The only thing that in this case theta can vary. Uh, so I have not still seen the email, and I will do it like after 12 o'clock. And in the case, but I remember few days back I did one approval in the ERP. So it was yours or somebody else, I don't know. And day before, perhaps suddenly I saw the ERP, but in the ERP there was nothing. Your name I could not find there. But still I will see once again. Okay, I will call you back. Sandy, your number is with me perhaps. Or you give me a missed call so that in that case your number is not with me. So I will call you back. After 12 I have to do. So sorry for the interruption. Many people keep wasting for different things and I have to entertain them. So this is the expression for theta dash and so T dot, and for stability T dot should be less than 0. Why? Let us go on the next page and check. Okay. In the controls area, usually we define one Lyapunov function. And Lyapunov function basically it's a energy function, V energy function. And this is a positive definite function, means V0 equal to 0 and Vx tilde, this is greater than 0. Means for any other state, this quantity is greater than 0. If V tilde is greater than less than equal to 0, then it becomes positive semi-definite. So we are talking about this function right now. So for positive definite function, so you have some value of V, say here in this place, this is V0. Then this is another value, this is another value, this is another value. So this is V1, so V1 is less than V0 and so on. So you perturb, this is the equilibrium point, you perturb the system from this place and you bring it here. So here you will have some say V0 prime is the value. So this is the initial value. Then if the system is stable, then this will decay. Okay. Its a trajectory may look like this. Okay. Or it may go directly like this, whatever it depends all on the system, what kind of system this is. So this implies that V is decaying. So a stable system will dissipate any extra energy you send it to it. If it is in the equilibrium state, it will dissipate if the energy gets dissipated, then it is stable. In the case of the inverted pendulum. So here, basically it has got two configuration, equilibrium configuration. One is vertically down, and this is in this place. So out of this is unstable equilibrium configuration, and this is stable. If you disturb little bit, there is no restoring force. Automatically it will glide down. While here in this case, if you disturb it little bit, slowly it will damp out because of the presence of the aerodynamic drag and the friction on the bearing. So this kind of system here, V is decaying continuously, so we indicate by V dot less than 0. The same concept is applied here. This is the total energy of the system. This is the kinetic energy here in this case. Potential energy anyway, it's not decaying, it's going in the orbit. So T dot, if T dot is less than 0, then the system will be stable. You got the point? Are you connected?
Yes, sir, connected.
So for this case, then what we have got here, P dot equal to I3, which is I0 divided by I minus I1 sin theta cos theta theta dot. You can see that theta value, this will be in the case of the satellite, it's a plus minus 90 degree. But we consider only one sign because the plus minus it does not matter in that case. So theta equal to maximum 90 degrees, so it's lying between 0 and 90 degrees. So this part we remove. So T dot will be less than 0 if I0 minus I divided by minus 1, this quantity is less than 0. Or I0 is less than, sorry, this is less than 0, so that means this should be greater than, this quantity should be less than 0. T dot is less than 0. So I0 minus I is equal to less than 0. This is better. So, and if, so we have to combine, this is the quantity, this is the situation where this quantity, if it is less than 0, then T dot is going to be negative. Now we take into account this theta 0. So if theta dot is greater than 0 and theta dot means theta dot is positive. It's a angle of, nutation angle is increasing, and I0 less than I, so then P dot becomes less than P dot, this will be positive and this quantity is negative, so that makes it negative. Go to the next page. If this quantity is greater than 0 and theta dot, this is less than 0, then this implies T dot is less than 0 and therefore stable. Therefore stable, because in this case the energy is dissipating. So this condition should be satisfied. This is the major axis rotation. On the other hand, if I0 and theta dot is greater than 0, so what does this imply? This implies that P dot also here in this case is less than 0. But here the nutation is increasing. So if the total energy is dissipating, so once, when this is happening, when I0 is less than I or minor axis rotation. So though the energy is dissipating, but there is a problem involved here. What? That the nutation angle is increasing. So though the energy is dissipating, but the this energy is dissipating, but the nutation angle increasing. That means that it's going away from the equilibrium configuration. And this is exactly the problem that we have detected earlier, that rotation about the minor axis by writing this equation is not stable. So if the rotation is about the minor axis, even though the energy is dissipating, but still the nutation increases. So this way this problem can be analyzed, and I will give you today afternoon or by evening I will be sending you some tutorial problems to be solved, and which will appear in the next exam. Okay, this will be based on this. So we take into consideration all the things while analyzing this kind of problem. Okay, the rotation of the axis or finding the moment of inertia about a different axis, this we have already done using the angular momentum method. So that part I will skip right now, and anything to discuss about this I will take over later on once we get some time. Otherwise, right now I address the issue of gravity, gradient. So already we have observed that this is the center of mass, and here the Earth is located. Mass dm is there. On this the force acting will be df. Center of this is center of mass. So let us consider that this is the orbit, and here we have a satellite. This is the x0 axis is here, and it either we write this as the E1, and this as the E2. And what does mean by this code? I will indicate later on, and this is your H2. So this is center of mass of the satellite. This is called the roll axis. As in the case of the aircraft, your x-axis is the roll axis, the velocity axis, and this is along the velocity direction approximately or completely. So this is always taken as the roll axis. Similarly, in the case of the satellite, this is taken as the roll axis. This is the velocity direction. This is the v direction is here. So this becomes your x-axis here. Though x-axis is taken here in this direction, but I am taking x-axis here. And then this becomes the y-axis as written by E2, and this becomes the z-axis. So this is your roll, and the pitch will be about this axis. So this is your pitch direction, pitch motion. So about this is the velocity direction. Okay. So about this you are taking roll, so about this you are taking the pitch. And then this becomes the y-axis. So to overcome this problem, many times people also write this as the x-axis, this as the y-axis, x-axis, and then in this direction this is the y-axis, and vertically down this is the z-axis. So this becomes the roll, this becomes the pitch, and this becomes your XYZ. So this configuration it resolves it. But we will follow this notation. E10, E20, and E30. This stands for vital. For vital axis, what does it mean? This is the frame fixed at the center of mass of the satellite, and the x direction is always pointing towards the center of the Earth. The center of the Earth. So now we have this kind of situation. This is the E1 0 direction. This is the center of mass of the body. This is E2 orbital, and this is E3 orbital. With respect to this, your body may be oriented in any arbitrary way. And let us fix a frame there. Let us say this is E1, E2, E3, and we put here B, T to indicate E1B, E2B, and E3B. This is the body axis. So with respect to orbital axis, your body axis is oriented in certain way. You have to find out what will be the gravity gradient torque. And this is the torque which is responsible for either destabilizing the spacecraft or it helps in stabilizing the Earth or the spacecraft. So we take the orbital motion to be like this. This is the center of mass of the satellite, and V0 is its direction of motion. So here in this case, omega will be perpendicular to coming out of the cage. This we write as omega 0. So omega, the orbital, this is called the orbital angular velocity. Orbital angular velocity. Right now this orbit is like this. This is the E1 0. E1 0 is here. And this is E2 0. And E3 0 is in this direction. After some time it will be like this. So it will look like this. The angular velocity of the satellite in the orbital frame, it can be written as omega 0 times h3 cap t, which is minus sign. Why? Because this vector here in this place, shown by this red, this is coming out of the paper. And this is just opposite to the E3 direction. This is opposite of the E3 direction, and therefore we put with a minus sign. So this is in orbital angular velocity in orbital frame. From orbital frame, you can convert to the body frame. So this part, let us rewrite this as minus sign omega 0 times 0, 0, 1. This is a unit vector, which is E cap 0, 3. In matrix notation, we can depict it in this way. In the vector notation, the total angular velocity of the satellite, this is the omega 0 plus omega r, where omega r is the velocity with respect to the angular velocity with respect to the orbital field. Angular velocity of the body field. So this becomes inertial angular velocity. Inertial angular velocity. This is a common vector notation that we are following. Now omega 0 tilde, this is the orbital angular velocity. This is written in the body axis, the orbital axis. So this can be converted to the body axis to a rotation matrix, which is the attitude or the cosine, direction cosine matrix. So this becomes A times omega 0. So we can write it as 0, 0 minus omega 0. This will be nothing but this column multiplied by A13, A23, A33 multiplied by omega 0 to the minus 1. That means the third column of this direction cosine matrix, if you multiply this omega 0 with that, it gets converted to the body field. So the orbital angular velocity of the satellite in the body field. These descriptions are very necessary while you solve or do any research work in the area of the satellite dynamics. So thus we have omega tilde, which we can write as A times or A11, A13, A23, and A33 times omega 0 with minus sign. This is omega 0 tilde in the body axis. This is body converted to body axis. And plus omega r. So omega r with respect to the omega angular velocity of a satellite, this is with respect to the body axis, orbital axis. This is with respect to the orbital axis.
Sir, I think you were disconnected or something. We skipped some portion apparently.
Yes, you could not hear me.
No, sir. For some while I could not hear you. Yeah, this part.
I could not get you what you are.
We got stuck after omega naught b body frame axis of body.
See here, what we are doing. Okay, let us go to the next page and here is this page. What we are doing that we have to describe this is the inertial angular velocity. Means if this is the earth and I have a fixed axis here and this is non-rotating. So with respect to this axis, how this spacecraft is rotating into E3. So this gives you this inertial angular velocity, and you can just make a parallel of this. This is non-rotating all the time. Truly speaking, this if you take a parallel of this here in this place, still it's non-rotating, but it's accelerating. So in real sense, this does not become an inertial reference frame. Just like if you take this non-rotating frame at the center of the Earth and try to describe the satellite motion, assuming this to be the inertial, but at the same time the Earth is also rotating around the Sun. And therefore, this is slightly accelerating towards the center of the Earth. Not very large magnitude, but it is accelerating. And therefore, strictly speaking, this does not become an inertial reference frame. And for that, corrections are given to this, but we do not require all those kind of descriptions here in this case. Those are necessary while we go for the astronomy. From the distance, the large distances are involved and measurements are being made. So at that time, it's very important. And if you want to look into all these issues, so you can look into the book by Siddleman, Siedel, Siddleman. The spelling I do not remember exactly. This book by Supplementary Explanation to Astronomical Algorithm. Supplementary explanation or something to astronomical. And this book gives you then to give the relativistic correction and many other things. What goes in the real practice in dealing with the satellite, like which are going to the Pluto and outside the solar system. So for them, then all these corrections are given in measurements. But here, for our purpose, this correction is not required. Okay, so this inertial velocity of the satellite is given by omega tilde. And with respect and angular velocity of the orbital angular velocity is given by omega 0. And with respect to this, then the satellite is rotating. So this is with respect to the inertial frame, and this is with respect to the orbital. If we add these two, we get the inertial angular velocity. Sometimes this notation will be required, otherwise mostly if you are working with the inertial pointing satellite, so only omega tilde is required. If you are working with the earth pointing satellite, then the earth pointing means you have a camera on board the satellite, and all the time this camera should point toward the, or transponder on board, this should point toward the center of the earth. So this is called earth pointing or the nadir pointing. In that case, you need to work with this omega r. So for that case, I have described it here. So using this notation, then and here what goes into the Euler dynamics, this part. This is omega 1, omega 2, omega 3. This is the inertial angular velocity will enter here in this place, not this part. So from this equation, then you can get what will be the omega r value. Okay. Till this point, these are all descriptive how to describe various things. Now the actual problem starts. I have a satellite here. This is the center of the earth. Any mass here dm, it will feel a gravitational attraction which is given by df, and d is gravitational. This can be written as minus mu r. Here this is the r vector dm by r cube, or r vector magnitude whole cube. And let us say this vector is rho, this vector is rc. Therefore, dfg, this becomes minus mu rc plus rho and therefore the gravitational torque, this becomes rho cross df. And already we have seen that if we take this as the center of mass, then we can integrate it this way inside the gravitational torque equation. Otherwise, we will have one extra term if the reference point is not the center of mass. So we are simplifying this case here. Then we have rc plus rho This part we need to simplify. We take outside the RC. Okay, and then once we have written here in this format, then we can remove this magnitude sign. The mod sign we can remove and just we can carry out with a bracket. And then this becomes RC as it goes outside. So this becomes 1 plus rho by RC square plus 2. This quantity is of second order. So this term we can delete here. So this is a Taylor series expansion, keeping only the first term and neglecting the other term. If you do not neglect the other terms, okay, then and that we cannot do. We suppose if we have like the asteroid, and around the asteroid we have a big satellite, and it's a moving. So they will be moving mutually under gravitational attraction of each other. So in those cases, we need to keep the higher terms also. The second order terms will be taken into account. But here for this purpose, where the Earth satellite is involved, we need to just keep the first term, first order term. So we have here RC plus rho to the power minus 3. This becomes 1 minus and 3 by 2 here into 2 to 2 cancels out. So we get here 3. So 3 times and therefore the gravitational torque, this can be written as, so we have rho times df, so rho cross and df is minus mu and rc plus rho dm and then rc plus rho mod whole cube integrated over the whole body. And this can be simplified. This is minus rho cross r plus rho cross rho, this becomes 0, so we keep here only this RC term. RC is not dependent on the integration, so we write this as rho dm divided by RC plus rho whole cube and cross. And this quantity we are aware of. So immediately rho dm we cannot make it 0 because rho is also involved in the denominator. So if this quantity would not have been there, so simply this quantity will be 0 because we are taking reference frame at the center of mass. But this is not the case here, and therefore we need to expand and work it out. So RC plus rho mod to the power q, this we have written as, so we make it like this, rho cross rho d, so I'll put in the denominator, RQ, RC whole cube, 3 RC dot rho. Okay, just we have inserted whatever we did earlier. Okay. And now this can be solved. The minus sign is missing here. We can put a minus sign here. With a minus sign and then plus. Okay, by expanding the two terms, we get this. This quantity, you can see this quantity is immediately 0 because the rho is measured from the center of mass, so this quantity becomes 0. Center of mass property. We are left with this term. We can be taken outside, RC to the power 5. And this is the whole thing that we need to work out to solve this problem. This quantity, to simplify it, we can write this as 3 by RC to the power 5. It's minus sign here. In cross, we can take it outside, and we can write here rho times well, this can also be written as rho times rho dot RC. Dot we can take outside, RC, and dm we can write here. RC is outside here, cross so this is just rearranging the term. So this is the gravity gradient torque expression after certain simplification. What we need to do further to solve this problem. Okay, at this stage, then we Recall what we have learned earlier, that the moment of inertia that is, this is written as rho square E double bar minus rho. This is the inertia diagram. We remove this prime. So this implies rho dm. This will be equal to inertia diagram minus rho square E minus rho square E double bar minus I double bar, and this is dm rho square E double bar dm. This is integration here and minus I double bar. So we utilize this information and insert in the above equation. If you expand it, then this becomes rho square dm, and this is E double bar. This is the unit diagram. So we have RC cross here, and this RC dot we take it inside. So this will simply E double bar dot RC. This is nothing but RC. So we utilize this information and work it out here. We write here E double bar dot RC and plus 2 mu by S2 to the power 5 RC cross I double bar dot I double bar dot RC. This is what we get here. So this quantity is 0. As you can see, this will come outside the bracket, and therefore this makes it 0. So we get Mg equal to 3 mu by RC to the power 5 RC cross but right now everything is described in initial form. We need to work out this whole thing and reduce it to a proper format. So this RC vector, if you see, the RC vector is just because from the center of the word, this is the RC vector. And from this point, you have the vector E cap, orbital we have written here. So this is the x direction of the orbital axis, orbital x axis. So your RC vector is always directed opposite to this, so this comes with a minus sign. So RC equal to minus UX. So we can just replace it E cap either in terms of okay, our vital we put here downward and X we put here in this case. I don't know on the previous page what I notation on the page. So this is X and this is Y. So we can replace this with minus XO cos I double bar dot so minus minus that makes it plus RC to the power 5 now this has got converted into the orbital frame notation. But still it's not convenient because we describe the moment of inertia and the torque and other things in the body frame, not in the orbital frame. Therefore, we need to reduce it further. Okay, so at this stage, then we utilize our what we were discussing about the changing vector from one axis to another axis system. The moment of inertia expression as we have written on the previous page, we have written as d mu by RC to the power 5 2 mu divided by RC to the power 5 by E cap cross A double bar dot this vector, this is nothing but your this forms a skew symmetric matrix. So in the matrix notation, then we can write this as there is a proper way of reducing these vectors. Okay, it's called the vectrix. But we are not using this unnecessarily, then we won't be able to cover. And it will be unnecessary mathematical exercise. So we write it this way. So then this becomes, and this quantity, as we know, this is nothing but your I times E cap X. In the matrix notation, this gets reduced this. Here, instead of writing Ex, you can write it this way to indicate this is the matrix notation. So we can make it tilde. This is equivalent to E cap X. And then this vector, as we know that any vector in the orbital frame, this can be converted to the body frame by using this rotation matrix. Okay, therefore, X orbital can be described as A transpose XB. So using this notation, then we can write here S times A transpose E tilde in the body frame. So this is conversion of, so this is the vector you get here in this format. There is a vector in the body frame which can be converted into the orbital frame. It will come like this. And what this quantity is, this is the EOX. This is the first column of the matrix, the rotation matrix. We have the rotation matrix A. So the first column is appearing here in this format. This is the first column. Similarly, this part also we can change here and write here E tilde X. And This is a rotation. This is orthogonal rotation. It's called the RO3. Sorry, SO3. And this has got the property that this can be broken and written like times it. So if we use this notation, so this becomes, and then you write here I, A transpose E tilde XB, and here minus 3 mu by RC to the power 5. The quantity from here to here, now this gets converted to the body frame. So this is A transpose S E tilde X B. Okay, the same rotation. So one frame to another frame already we have worked out using the angular momentum method. So this becomes I in the body frame. And this is E tilde X B. But the left hand side is still we have not reduced in terms of, this is still remaining on the orbital frame. So we need to reorient it in the orbital frame. So for what we do, that in the next step we write m body is equal to A times m. This is the orbital. So orbital, this torque will be converted into the body torque in the body frame. So then we have A times, and previously we whatever we have got 3 mu by RC to the power 5 A transpose S times E X B E tilde this is orthogonal rotation, so this is identity matrix, identity, and therefore this gets reduced to so you can write this as